The signal from the stars. Captain Maya Chen rubbed her eyes as she stared at the constellation of blinking lights across her monitor station at Proxima Deep Space Listening Post. Another quiet night monitoring the endless void. 3 years stationed at humanity's furthest outpost from Earth, and the most exciting thing to happen was when Johnson smuggled in real coffee beans last supply run. The soft, persistent beep from her console startled her from her thoughts. At first, she assumed it was just another system check, but the beep continued, growing more insistent. "Computer, identify signal source," Maya commanded, sitting up straight. "Unknown signal detected from Sector 42 Kappa. Pattern matches Universal Distress Protocol. Language unknown." Maya frowned. Sector 42 Kappa was well beyond any human exploration routes. No Earth vessels should be anywhere near that region. "Show me the signal pattern." The screen displayed a pulsing wave. 3 short bursts, 3 long, 3 short again. The universal SOS used across known space. But the message that followed was in no language Maya had ever encountered. She pressed the emergency communication button. "Earth Command, this is Proxima Station. We have a situation." Admiral Elijah Koenig looked at the gathered officers in the United Earth Defense Force headquarters beneath the Pacific Ocean. The room hummed with tension as holographic displays showed the mysterious signal's origin point. "The signal has been active for 7 days now," Koenig said, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of the tactical displays. "Our most advanced AI systems cannot translate the language, but the distress pattern is unambiguous." Commander Sasha Volkov, a tall woman with silver-streaked black hair and piercing eyes, studied the star chart. "It would take our fastest conventional vessel 3 months to reach that location. That's why we're sending the Chimera," Admiral Koenig replied. A murmur swept through the room. The UES Chimera was Earth's newest and most advanced vessel, a prototype warship with experimental FTL systems that had never been deployed on a real mission. "Admiral," objected Colonel Hassan, the head of intelligence. "With all respect, we don't know who sent this signal. This could be a trap. The Chimera is too valuable to risk on an unverified distress call from unknown entities." "I understand your concern," Admiral Koenig nodded. "But consider our position in the galaxy. We've been searching for intelligent life for centuries. What if we were the ones sending a distress call into the void? Wouldn't we hope someone would answer?" The room fell silent. "The Chimera launches in 48 hours, the Admiral ordered. "Commander Volkov, you'll lead this mission. Choose your crew carefully. This is officially a humanitarian response, but be prepared for anything." The launch bay of the lunar shipyard was a hive of activity as Commander Volkov supervised final preparations. The Chimera looked nothing like conventional human vessels. Its sleek, obsidian hull seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Its unusual geometry, the result of physics humans had only recently begun to understand. "All systems check complete, Commander," reported Lieutenant Raj Patel, the ship's young but brilliant navigator. "The FTL drive is calibrated and ready." Volkov nodded. "How's our xenolinguistics specialist doing with the signal?" "Dr. Novak hasn't slept in 3 days," Raj replied. "She thinks she might be making progress, but won't commit to anything definitive." Volkov toured the ship, checking every section. The medical bay was fully equipped for both human and potential non-human patients. The armory was stocked with every weapon system in Earth's arsenal. The engines were primed and humming with contained power. In the linguistics lab, she found Dr. Eleanor Novak hunched over holographic symbols that twisted and reformed in the air around her. "Any progress?" Volkov asked. Dr. Novak pushed a strand of wild red hair from her face. "The language structure defies our conventional translation matrices. But there's something about it. She manipulated the symbols, rearranging them. It feels ancient, Commander, far older than human civilization." Volkov studied the star map again. The signal originated from a small system with a dying star, far from any known spatial anomalies or resources that would attract attention. "Commander," called Raj over the comms. "Final launch clearance received." Volkov took her place on the bridge and surveyed her crew, 30 of Earth's finest specialists, chosen for both their expertise and their psychological profiles. People who could make first contact without panicking, or fight if necessary. "This mission carries risks we cannot fully calculate," she told them frankly. "We're answering a call for help from someone we don't know, can't understand, and who may not even resemble anything we recognize as life. But that's what we do. We explore, we connect, and we help. That's humanity at its best." She activated the ship-wide communication system. "All personnel, secure for launch. Destination: Sector 42 Kappa. Mission: search and rescue." The Chimera's advanced engines engaged with a deep, resonant hum as the massive ship broke free of the lunar dock. As they accelerated toward the outer solar system, Volkov couldn't shake the feeling that this mission would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. The alien distress call continued to pulse on their communication systems, a mysterious message from the unknown that seemed to grow more urgent with each passing light year. 3 weeks later, the Chimera decelerated from FTL speed at the edge of an unfamiliar star system. The experimental drive had performed beyond expectations, cutting what should have been a months-long journey down to weeks. "Sensors detecting significant debris field ahead," reported Lieutenant Diane Lee from the science station. "Composition includes metallic alloys, rock, and organic material." The main view screen displayed a vast expanse of destruction, shattered fragments of what might once have been a small planet or large moon. "There are artificial structures mixed in," Lee continued, her voice tight. "This was a civilization, Commander." Volkov rose from her command chair, scanned for life signs. The bridge fell silent as the sensors swept the debris field. After what seemed an eternity, Lee looked up. Faint readings from the largest remaining structure, some kind of station or outpost that partially survived. "Whatever happened here?" "Take us in," Volkov ordered. "Yellow alert. Shield at maximum." The Chimera navigated carefully through the field of destruction. As they approached the structure, they could see it had once been magnificent. A crystalline spire that might have housed thousands. Now it was fractured and dark, most of its sections exposed to vacuum. "Still detecting life signs," Lee confirmed. "They're weak but stable." Volkov stood. "I'll lead the away team. Dr. Novak, Dr. Torres for medical, and Lieutenant Kim for security." The away team materialized inside what seemed to be a sealed section of the structure. Their suit lights cut through the darkness, revealing walls covered in intricate patterns similar to the encoded message they had received. "Atmosphere is thin but breathable," Dr. Torres reported, checking his scanner. "Temperature is near freezing, but within tolerance range." They moved deeper into the structure, climbing over collapsed sections and navigating through narrow corridors. After several minutes, they heard a sound, a soft, rhythmic clicking. "Hello," Volkov called out. "We're here to help." A figure emerged from the shadows. It stood nearly 3 meters tall, with a slender body covered in iridescent scales that shifted color in the light. 4 elongated arms ended in 7-fingered hands, and its head featured 3 large, compound eyes that blinked independently of the humans. "You came," it said in halting English, the words emerging from vibrating membranes along its neck. Volkov was momentarily stunned. "You speak our language." The alien scales rippled in what might have been amusement. "We learn quickly. Have been monitoring your transmissions for decades. I am Salian, keeper of memories." Dr. Torres stepped forward with his medical scanner. "You're injured." "Yes," Zalian confirmed. "Few survived the Harbinger attack." "Harbingers?" Volkov asked. "Who are they?" Before Xalian could answer, more aliens emerged from the recesses of the chamber. Some supported others who were clearly injured, with patches of scales missing or limbs held at odd angles. "The Harbingers are death," said another alien, taller than Xalian, its scales a deeper blue. "They consume all in their path, We refused to surrender our world, so they destroyed it. I am Elder Zirith, the newcomer continued. We sent the beacon hoping someone would hear. We did not expect humans. Your kind is new to the stars. Volkov introduced herself and her team. We're explorers, but we answer distress calls. We can evacuate survivors to our ship and provide medical assistance. Elder Zirith's scales flickered with what might have been relief. Brave, but perhaps unwise. The harbingers will return. They always ensure no witnesses remain. The structure shuddered violently as something exploded nearby. Dust and crystal fragments rained down from the ceiling. Volkov's communicator crackled to life. Commander. It was Raj, his voice tight with alarm. Multiple vessels just appeared at the system's edge. They're ignoring our hails and moving directly toward our position. We need to leave now, Volkov told the aliens. Can you travel? We can take as many as our ship can hold. Elder Zirith nodded quickly. We must hurry. The harbingers show no mercy. As they organized the survivors for emergency transport, Volkov asked, why are they so determined to destroy you? Zelian looked at her with those strange, compound eyes. Because we know their weakness. Because we refuse to be silent about what they truly are. The structure shook again, more violently this time. Through a crack in the wall, Volkov glimpsed dark ships in the distance, angular vessels that seemed to absorb the light around them, advancing with implacable purpose. Their first contact with alien life was already turning into a desperate fight for survival. Humanity unleashed. The Chimera shuddered as another energy blast glanced off its shields. Commander Volkov steadied herself against her command chair, watching the tactical display with growing concern. Shields at 38%, reported Lieutenant Kim from the Defensive Systems Station. 3 enemy vessels in pursuit, closing fast. On the screen, 3 black ships of the Harbinger fleet pursued them. Jagged, asymmetrical vessels that seemed designed to inspire terror as much as to wage war. They're faster than us in sublight, said Raj from the navigation console. FTL drive needs another 4 minutes to recharge. Volkov turned to Elder Zirith, who stood beside her on the bridge, watching the pursuing ships with his 3 eyes blinking in different patterns. You said you know their weakness. Volkov pressed. We need that information now. The alien scales darkened. The Harbingers are not what they appear. They are not a species but a collective, a hive intelligence using advanced biomechanical vessels. Their individual units cannot think independently. They require constant connection to their command node. A centralized control system, Volkov realized. If we could disrupt that connection, we developed a resonance frequency that interferes with their communication pathways, Zelian said, joining them on the bridge. But our weapons were destroyed before we could deploy them effectively. The ship rocked violently as a direct hit struck their aft shields. Shields at 22%, Kim reported tensely. One more hit like that, and we're exposed. Volkov made her decision. Dr. Novak, work with our guests to reconfigure our communication array to broadcast their disruption frequency. Lieutenant Lee, prepare to drop our entire complement of quantum mines in a dispersal pattern. Raj, on my mark, execute a Klinger maneuver. The crew moved with practiced efficiency. The Harbinger vessels closed in, their weapons charging for what would likely be a killing blow. Now, Raj, Volkov ordered. The Chimera executed an impossible turn, briefly engaging its FTL drive for a micro-jump that positioned it behind a pursuing Harbinger vessels. Before the enemy could react, the human ship released its full spread of quantum mines. The explosions temporarily blinded their sensors. When the view cleared, one Harbinger vessel was drifting, clearly damaged, while the other 2 were quick to recover and resume pursuit. Disruption frequency ready, Dr. Novak announced. But our array isn't powerful enough to affect all enemy vessels simultaneously. Focus on the lead ship, Volkov commanded. The Chimera broadcast the alien frequency. The effect was immediate. The targeted Harbinger vessel began to move erratically, its weapon systems powering down. "It's working," Lee exclaimed. But their victory was short-lived. 5 more Harbinger vessels appeared on their sensors, moving to cut off their escape route. "We can't fight them all," Kim said, stating the obvious. Volkov opened a channel to Earth Command. "Admiral Koenig, this is Commander Volkov. We have encountered a hostile alien force called the Harbingers. They have destroyed at least one civilization and are now targeting us. We've rescued survivors but are outnumbered and outgunned. Requesting immediate assistance." The reply came after a long moment of static. "Understood, Commander. Help is on the way. Transmitting coordinates for rendezvous. Hold out as long as you can." What help could possibly reach us in time? Raj wondered aloud. 2 days later, the Chimera limped through space, running on emergency power. They had managed to evade the Harbinger fleet through a series of desperate maneuvers and micro-jumps, but the ship's systems were failing. The alien survivors were helping repair what they could, showing remarkable technical adaptability. "We're approaching the rendezvous coordinates," Raj announced, his voice hoarse from exhaustion. "Sensors detecting no Earth vessels," Lee reported, disappointment evident. Volkov had begun to think they'd been abandoned when the space before them suddenly distorted. A massive portal opened, unlike anything human technology could create. Through it emerged a vessel that made the Chimera look like a toy by comparison. Its design was unmistakably human in origin, but unlike any ship in Earth's known fleet. Its hull bore the insignia of Project Prometheus, a classified initiative that most in the fleet believed was still theoretical. "Chimera, this is UES Olympus," came a transmission. "Admiral Koenig commanding. Move behind us and prepare for escort to safety." As they complied, more portals opened. 3, then 7, then 15 similar vessels emerged, forming a battle formation around the damaged Chimera. "What is this?" Elder Zirith asked, scales shifting in what Volkov had learned to recognize as awe. "Something I didn't know existed," Volkov admitted. Admiral Koenig's face appeared on their view screen. "Commander, we've analyzed your data on the Harbinger fleet. The Security Council has authorized deployment of the Prometheus fleet." "Sir," Volkov responded, "I was unaware such vessels were operational." Koenig's expression was grim. "They weren't supposed to be. But we've been monitoring deep space for years, Commander. We knew something was out there. The Harbingers have been systematically eliminating civilizations on the edge of our detection range. We've been preparing." The tactical display updated, showing the approaching Harbinger fleet, now numbering over 30 vessels. "Transmit everything you've learned about their weakness to the Olympus," Koenig ordered. "Then get your ship and those survivors to safety." As they transferred the disruption frequency data, Volkov watched the massive Earth vessels move into attack formation. The Olympus alone dwarfed the entire Harbinger fleet, its weapon systems unlike anything she had seen before. "What exactly are those ships armed with, Admiral?" she asked. "Something we hoped never to use," Koenig replied solemnly. "A graviton cascade system. It can disrupt the fabric of space-time itself within a targeted area." The implications were staggering. Such a weapon could literally tear apart matter at the subatomic level. "Clear the battlefield, Commander," Koenig ordered. "That's an order." From a safe distance, the crew of the Chimera watched as humanity's secret fleet engaged the Harbingers. The Earth vessels broadcast the disruption frequency at unprecedented power levels, temporarily paralyzing the enemy ships. Then the Olympus fired its main weapon. A sphere of distorted space-time enveloped 3 Harbinger vessels. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the ships simply unraveled, their component particles dispersing into the void. "By the ancestors," whispered Salian, watching beside Volkov. "Your species is more formidable than we imagined." The battle was shockingly brief. The Harbinger ships that weren't destroyed outright fled into FTL, something Elder Zirith said he had never witnessed before. "They always fight to the last unit," he explained. "This retreat suggests we've struck at something vital." Admiral Koenig's face reappeared on their screen. The immediate threat has been neutralized, Commander, but our analysts believe this was merely a scouting force. Their main fleet will come eventually. And when they do, Volkov asked. We'll be ready, Koenig said with grim determination. The Prometheus fleet was built for exactly this scenario, to defend not just Earth, but any civilization facing extinction from aggressor species. It seems we found our first allies in that fight. 2 weeks later, Commander Volkov stood in the observation lounge of Earth's Orbital Command, watching as diplomatic representatives from Earth met with Elder Zirith and the surviving members of his species. Below them, the blue-green jewel of humanity's homeworld rotated serenely, unaware of how close it had come to being noticed by a galactic predator. Admiral Koenig joined her at the viewport. The Security Council has approved the formation of an interspecies defense initiative. The survivors will help us prepare for the Harbinger's return. Do you think we can win? Volkov asked bluntly. I think we have to, Koenig replied. But more importantly, we don't have to do it alone anymore. Volkov nodded, watching as human and alien engineers already worked together, combining technologies and knowledge. They came to us with nothing but a desperate SOS, she said quietly. And in response, we revealed our most closely guarded secret and our deadliest weapons. That's humanity for you, Koenig said with a hint of pride. Sometimes our greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our willingness to stand against impossible odds for those who can't stand alone. Outside the viewport, the first joint human-alien vessels were taking shape in Earth's orbital shipyards, the beginning of a fleet that would stand ready to answer the next desperate call from the stars. In the vastness of space, the message was clear. Humanity had entered the galactic stage not as conquerors or the conquered, but as protectors, and the Harbingers would soon learn what it meant to face the combined might of species united in defense of life itself.